everybody. We're back. We're at the Kickstart Your Business Summit 2026. This is awesome. I'm here with my good friend Tiff Loeffler, who has been helping me grow CIBN for the last few years. She is amazing, by the way. She runs the Positively Women's Networking Group. And we're going to talk more about that in a minute. We're going to talk about how we have real conversations with women in CIBN Connect and at the Positively Women's Group, which runs every Tuesday. As we're getting started here, though, I do want to point out to you that at the top, again, we have that QR code so you can register for the summit, okay? You want to register because there's a bunch of free gifts, and you don't get the gifts if you don't register. So make sure that you actually use the QR code and get the registration done. All right, awesome. Tiff, I'm so glad you could join me here today. We're just going to have fun and have a conversation here like we often do, right? And we're just going to share with others that want to join in as well. If you want to make comments on YouTube or anywhere that you're watching us, we can see your comments and we can respond. So by all means, join in the conversation. Tiff, so you've been with us at CIBN for the last couple of years, few years. It's been a while.
I know.
So tell me, like, how did you find us, and what's your story? Like, what brought you here?
This is truly one of my favorite stories because it does tie into the power of a business referral. But more than that, it ties into community. Because I was talking to Kerry about 3 C's that I really wanted to talk about: community, consistency, and caring. And one day when my business wasn't going so well, okay, who are we kidding? My business wasn't going anywhere. Did I even have a business? I do not know. And I have an amazing mentor, Betty Ann Ellis. And Betty Ann one day said to me, okay, you are going to join me at a CIBN networking meeting. And when we're done, you are going to have a call with Kerry George, the CEO. Now, here's the cool thing about when you have someone that you know, like, and trust. There was no hesitation. There was no, oh, no. It was, okay, she has told me this is what I need to do. It's very simple. There's no arguing. There's no waffling. I love waffles for breakfast, but no, not waffling in business. So I went to this meeting, and yes, I was impressed. Wow, these people, they seem to have it together. Sweet, and they do. And they seem to be having fun, and they do. And they're actually talking about business, and it wasn't, let's all commiserate about what's going wrong. It's like, ooh, hey, what's going on? What are we doing in business today? And I liked that. And then I met with Kerry. Oh, and I say this all the time. Thank you, Betty Ann, for introducing me to CIBN, to Kerry George. It changed my life. And I have weathered many storms since. And to have a community where I could always connect with, always have that center to be grounded. That is, I feel, the number one thing you need when you're starting a business. I don't care if you're a solopreneur, if you have a partner, if you have many partners, if you have this whole group, community, employees, whatever, however it's working out, you need to have a community that is centered in what are we doing today for our business? How can I help? Truly, how can I help? Mikhail, on the first day, how can ask for help? So many of us are afraid to ask for help for all the reasons, and it doesn't matter. You don't have to be afraid. Get connected with the community. You don't have to worry. Pretty soon they start reading your mind. Oops, something's up. Oh, hey, what's going on? And so, Kerry, thank you for letting me share that story because I love it. I'm so grateful to this day, every day, to walk in gratitude that someone took a stand for my greatness. It didn't matter what was going on. You need to connect with Kerry. You need to be a part of CIBN. This is your group. This is your tribe. This is your place. And it is. And I'm very happy. So thank you.
We were very, very happy to meet Tiff. I remember when she came along and she was in rough shape. Oh my gosh. I think our first meeting together, she was really stressed out and experiencing some trauma. And she had been trying to find a tribe, and she had paid a lot of money to other places. And she was even acting like, I would say, like violated, like she was really, really not in a good space at that time. And I just said, come on, honey, let's go together. I grabbed her by the hand. And she's been with us ever since. I think that was like 2020 or 2021. It's been a while.
It was, I believe it was 2022. I think it was in the springtime because yes.
Okay, early 2022.
Can I just say
Yeah.
again, thank you, people, ladies. Yeah, it is very traumatic when someone promises you the sun, the moon, and the stars, and you get nothing, less than nothing, and now you don't have not only what you thought you didn't have, now you've got even less, and you just feel bankrupt, not just financial, but you're just feeling. Ugh. So, again, I'm not in that place anymore. I'm very grateful and happy. Thank you.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, over the first couple of years, she was just involved as a member and participating along the way, taking the courses, learning, growing, starting to, kind of figure out her path and her business and what was going on. And then she started helping out by running the Positively Women's Networking Group. Yay! Every Tuesday, 1:00 Mountain, 3:00 Eastern, Tiff runs the Positively Women's Networking Group, which, by the way, I switched the QR code up at the top now. The QR code is now, it's the Positively Women's Networking meeting. When you click on that, it'll take you right to that so that you can sign up and come this week for free. It's right there. Just come on in and join us. So Tiff, tell me, what has your experience been like as you've been running the Positively Women's Networking Group?
Oh, well, besides, positive. Yes, here's what I love about it. And again, those 3 C's. A community that I get to be a part of week after week. It is rock steady. And I love that. There are a lot of great groups out there. And I don't think you should only be connected with one. I do really feel in my heart you need to have a core community that you know that every week you connect with. And it's awesome. If your cup runneth over, fantastic. If you need to fill your bucket, still fantastic. I love that. I love that we're not just chatting. I love to chat. Oh, I'm sure you'll understand by the end of this hour how much I love to chat. And also, we are real business women having real conversations. And some of it is fabulous and some of it just, But to be able to be in a community where week after week, wherever we're at, we've got each other. And it's not about just flippantly offering, talking points. Just, here's my advice I throw out to everyone. No, because as you get to know, like, and trust people, and we hear that all the time, it's almost like, I have to hear that one more time. But it's so important. And I think trust is the most important, and we fight ourselves on that. I fought myself on that for a long time. And when Kerry said, it wasn't just taking my hand. Sometimes she had to drag me by the hand, drag me. And I'm like, oh, I'm so excited for a moment. I'm arm in arm with her. And then I get scared. I want to go. Or something bad happened. I can't handle it. And she would just lovingly continue on the journey with me. So consistency, to have a consistent community of caring individuals. And I love it. I just love that there's so much opportunity out there. And I do love to say, people need you just as you are right now. And that's why I love being there every week. It's like there's something every single week. It's epic because there's that one moment. I'm so glad I was here for this. And I was so glad I was here for this person, or this person was here for me. And that's why just week after week, I so look forward to it throughout all of the ups and downs. I don't like to talk about COVID. That was crazy. And again, when you have a community that is rock solid, that you get to be a part of week after week, it's everything. It just makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah, the community aspect of bringing people together and creating that culture where they could, grow together and become like a business family. Like that was always my dream. Our business is a family business. My husband helps behind the scenes. My 2 sons are involved with the business. We have many other family businesses in CIBN, but we wanted every member to come and feel like they're part of the extended family. And that's important to us. Like it's not just what we do online. When we travel, we go to visit them, and when they travel, they come into Calgary where we're from, and we've had members fly in and spend a week with us because they just wanted to see, under the hood, like what's going on here and how does this work, and come in for my mountain mastermind and other special events that we've done. So, I mean, it's been absolutely brilliant to do that, to build that kind of a community where people are really wanting to spend time with each other. They look forward to being at the meeting and hanging out. Now, you said you had 3 C's, and I think we talked about community being one. What are the other 3 C's the other 2 of the 3 C's that you see as being part of that culture in the Women's Positive Networking group?
I mean, I did sneak it in. I know, I was subtle. Now I'm going to be very obvious. Okay, so community, of course, so important. And also consistency. And this is where I'm still working on it. And I used to think consistency was boring. I used to think consistency was, you're just phoning it in. I want to be spontaneous. I want to be free. That doesn't work very well in business when you need to show up consistently day after day and look at your day and say, okay, what am I doing today for my business? And so many times I would not do that. I would hide. I would avoid. I do love, it's a program called Positive Intelligence. And when I took that, I realized, they have what they call saboteurs. And I was an avoider. And I would just avoid. I didn't want to deal because I didn't want to be consistent, because I didn't trust myself. So I just want to tie that back into why it's good to, it really is good to know, like, and trust yourself. A lot of us going into business, things happen and they kind of reveal things inside that maybe we didn't want to deal with or have never dealt with until now. When you have a community that is consistently working on their business and they come from a caring heart where it's not about what's in it for me, it's about, wow, how can I help you? Then that is how I was able to reconnect with this whole, wow, being consistent is good. And I can learn to trust myself. And when you truly trust yourself, magic happens, because you are putting out an energy, a vibe that is very attractive to other people. But you know what? On the days when you don't trust yourself, it doesn't matter. It's okay. Like, you can come into a meeting and just, it's okay. When you walk in saying, you know what? I know. Okay, I'm here doing it. Here's where I am today. I am being consistent. I have showed up. Once in a while, someone will come back. They've been away for a little while and they come back and they say, oh, I'm so sorry that I haven't been here. You know what I love to say? I love to say, you never have to apologize for being fabulous. Life happens and we're here for you. And to be able to say to someone, you're here today. That's what matters. What are you doing today? How can I help you today? It's so uplifting, because I think I have too vivid an imagination, and yet it's hard for me to see into the future what my life could be like. I don't know if that's happened to some of you, like when they say, imagine your life 10 years from now, 5 years from now, 3 years from now. Yeah, some of us, it's a day-to-day thing. But guess what? When you're in a community that is being consistent and building their business, and they have a caring heart, today is what matters. Today is where the power is. And especially for the Positively Women's Networking, I am all about, girl, it's time for you to take your power. Like, right now. Like, what can you do right now to be in your power? Because power is awesome. If you're a fantastic individual, which I know you are because you're hanging out with Kerry and CIBN, that power deserves to be amplified and brought into the world through your business. You absolutely deserve that. I do love words. I love language. And some people say you shouldn't say should. You know what? It's okay once in a while. You can say you should care about yourself. You should take a stand for your greatness. You should hang out with a great community like Positively Women's Networking.
Awesome. I was just thinking about, as you're talking about consistency, and at CIBN, we have a networking success path where everyone comes in somewhere on the path. And it's like many entrances to the mall. And you go in and there's a big sign that says, you are here. And as members come in, we're like, okay, so where are you on the big success path? Are you just starting and building, or are you in the middle of the process somewhere where you're building social media assets and you're learning to be a presenter and speak and talk about your business? Are you, at the place now where you're watching the numbers and growing your business? That's the production stage. Or are you at the final stage, which I like to call the influencer stage? And the influencer stage is where you have at least 10,000 connections online. And when you say something, people actually listen. And if you have a tribe, so when you tell somebody, you should join this thing or this would be good for you, they're like, oh, okay, and they take your advice. Leaders actually have followers, and online you can even tell who you have following. And so I show people how to get there. And the point that Tiff made about consistency, that is really, really important in that path to going through and becoming an influencer, because it's the little things that you do every day, day by day, or every week, week by week, that add up to the place where you can then become an influencer. We have speakers who join the network and they want to be paid $10,000 every time they speak, and they got it once and they think they're a superhero now and they should get it every time. And honey, if you don't have 10,000 connections, you're not an influencer. You don't have followers, okay? And that's why you're not getting paid $10,000 every time. And the same thing if you're writing a book. You're writing a book, and you're trying to get people to follow you. First of all, your own book is better than a joint book project. Let me just throw that out there for you to chew off, okay? Ooh, I don't know if I want to go there today, but you can watch other videos about that. But the reality is you need to have followers, and you get those by doing certain steps along the way. And if you really want a big book deal from a huge production, a huge publishing company, the first thing they look at is how many followers do you have on social media? They're like, do you have 5, 10, 50,000 followers? And if you're over the 10,000 mark, they're like, yeah, this is somebody who's got some influence. So that's their standard of influence. And I just wanted to say that consistency is the biggest thing that you can do in your business. Tiff was talking about showing up every day, it's growing those channels intentionally, okay? It's networking. And then when the people that you network with, you go and connect with them on LinkedIn, so it grows the channel. You go meet with them on Facebook, so it grows the channel. And everything that you're doing is growing the channel. And that is helping you get to that place of influence. And it's these little day-by-day steps. And Tiff, I just want to commend you because, when you first come in, it was tough. And you've also had some challenges, over the last 3 years. Tiff had several deaths in the family and another one recently. So this is a tough thing. And she continues to come in and show up and be positive and give that love back to the community. And then the community gives that love to her, which helps her to be full, And it's been an amazing experience watching you grow and watching you show up. And I just want to thank you for all the work that you have done and everything that you are to CIBN. So thank you so much for that.
Oh, thank you so much I really appreciate that. I'm so glad you mentioned, because there is such a thing called toxic positivity. And that's not what this is about. If I had to say authentic positivity, it's okay to not be 100% every day, and you don't have to make up something or be a part of a story to make yourself feel better. So thank you for that, because instead of being mired in that, and it's not just the negativity, maybe it could be grief. Something's happened business-wise, personally, financially, health-wise. I want you to make sure you're taking care of yourself, who's listening to this. And also, when you are able to pour your heart into helping other people while going through your things, whatever level you can do that at, I feel, Kerry, it truly does help fill your bucket so that your cup can runneth over again. And that the sun is shining behind those clouds, and it might take a little while to get back to that sunshine, but it is there for you. But you get to feel what you're feeling. And again, I really appreciate that CIBN, as we're connecting with people, we do get to take a moment to tune into our emotions.
Yeah, I like that. We were talking about Tiff's 3 C's, and, the first one is community, the second one is consistency, and the third one is caring. And as she's running this Positively Women's Networking group, which you can go up to the QR code at the top there and actually sign up for this week on Tuesday. As she's running that every week, she's encouraging women to have real conversations We often have speakers in there that, are talking about real issues that matter to women. We do talk about things like marketing and production in your business and moving the needle forward. We have a lot of conversations about that, but we also have real conversations about stuff that's happening in life, because we can't just segregate ourselves out and say, this is my business pocket over here, and this is my personal pocket over here, and this is my spiritual pocket over here. Like, we're human beings, and those are all part of being a human. And so we want to have that opportunity as we are meeting with people, to let them express themselves in all of these, different situations that life brings, and have these real conversations. And oftentimes our speakers, are experts in some of those things, like overcoming grief, or like mind shift. I know that earlier today we had Terry Wildeman was
so
one
good.
of the speakers today, and she is so amazing.
Yes.
And she's often comes and shares at the Positively Women's Networking event. And she helps people connect with their mind and their heart, and making great decisions and moving the needle forward, but doing it in a way that, really, it really is in alignment with the women. So, I mean, it's just amazing to watch her at work. And she's just one of many speakers that come in and share from their heart. And it just moves the whole community when they do that. Tiff, we were going to talk about some of the, you actually mentioned being positive and authentic,
Yes.
because you can't, sometimes, like when something just happened, you got to get it out. That's part of it. So let's talk a little bit more about being authentic and that positivity.
Okay, yes. And I think part of that is simply acknowledging something's going on. Just have a moment with that. However, that toxic, negative spiral down can be very dangerous. And so I wanted to offer just a couple of tips, life hacks, if you will. And for both, I want to actually talk about both when something is amazing that's going on. I'm going to do that next. But first, when something really horrible is going on, whatever level it's at. Okay, first of all, there's so many things we can't control. We know this. And I wish I was saying something that nobody's ever said before in the history of the world. Nope. However, maybe I can say it in a way that will fire up some new neurons, connect with your heart in a certain way, and something that please feel free to share. Life happens. When it does, okay, what are you going to do? Here's the crazy part. It is such a challenge sometimes. There's so many things we cannot control. The one thing we can control is how we react to something. There's a difference between reacting and responding. And admittedly, I am still pretty reactionary. Something comes at me and I'm like, what? So here are just a few things that I want to share. Now, my number one, because we all have these amazing fingertips, unique fingerprints known only to us. So when something does come up, actually the first thing I want to do is take a breath. I want you to breathe in, slight pause, and breathe out. And when you breathe in through your nose if you can. That's not about raising your shoulders, taking a belly breath. And you pause for just a moment. And then when you release, just blow all the air out. Just make sure it's all out there. So that when you take another breath, you're really taking in a new breath. So breathe in. And pause just a moment and then breathe out. Get all that air out. And then take a new breath. Why did we do that? And all the things I'm going to show you, there's a reason we do this, and it is so simple. And I love learning about this. It's just simply this. Your brain wants to help you, but your brain might get spun in something and it'll just keep spinning. And it could be minutes, but it could be hours, days, weeks, years. And I want you to know that at any moment, you have the power to pull yourself out of it, if just for a moment, just to say, I acknowledge what's going on. Doesn't mean you have to be happy about it. It doesn't mean you have to accept it. You're just accepting it for the moment. If there's nothing you do in the moment, just take a breath. Just take a breath and just know you deserve to take that breath. Okay, so there's one. And the reason we do all these things is because we want to refire new neurons in our brain. We've got well-worn grooves, like that record player of old that we would play all the time. We've got soundtracks in the back of our brain, and some of them are great, but some of them really suck. And they keep going on and on. You can't do this. You messed up. You're too old. You're not old enough. The time has passed. You have no money. You're never going to get enough money. You're never going to be that person. You'll never have the influence. Nobody's ever going to listen to you. I mean, these are just a few that just might pop up. Okay, okay, fine. When something pops up, I recommend that you just say, hold on, thought. Step aside. I'm going to take my thumb and index finger. Of course, depending on the thought, you could use your middle finger. You could use this finger or even your pinky, but we'll start with the index finger, and we just take a moment and we just close our eyes for just a moment, lovingly feeling our unique fingertips as we take a breath. And what have we just done? Ta-da! We have actually given ourselves a moment to pause so that we can choose a new thought. And that is the power of being in the present moment. And that's just what I'm all about. And I love sharing it. And there are just a couple other things, because sometimes you need more than one, and it's okay. Sometimes you're really mired in something. I don't care what it is. I don't know if you can hear this. This is just it's such an old toy. I've had it since I was a little kid. It's a little grasshopper, and it makes a clicking noise. I don't know if you can hear that, but just clicking that, just like, oh, taking myself out of that spinny thought. Like, if any of these work, now it might sound a little woo, and I don't know what else to say, except sometimes I just like holding stones. This is just natural turquoise. I don't know what it means. I'm not an expert on that, but I just like holding it once in a while, just being kind of fascinated by the texture, the colors. And this is just something to just, again, take me out of that moment and be focused, lovingly focused on just something else. And finally, Shanae Richardson is going to be talking later, and I super love her. And I have something from her. It's called Cool It, and it's just because I think scents are amazing. Our sense of smell. This has got some eucalyptus in it, some other things. I think cypress. Again, do I know these things? Guess what? You don't have to know everything for things to work. And just doing this for a moment and just taking a moment to inhale this and just telling myself, look, you're okay right now. In this very moment, are you okay? Yes, I am. And that gives your brain a moment to not be reactionary, start a new pathway, and now I can respond to what's going on around me. But I'm grounded in power. And ladies, I'll tell you, I can't tell this enough to myself, and I hope I can say it to you enough. It's okay to be in your power. Be in your power, absolutely. Take that moment for yourself. So, Kerry, thank you for letting me. I really wanted to talk about that because I feel so strongly about making sure you're grounded, you're in your power, how amazing you are, and it's vital. It is actually vital to you and the people around you.
Absolutely. And I love that you brought up Shanae Richardson and her product line. I use quite a few of those products as well that she offers. And one of the most amazing thing lately is, as I'm getting older, I'm 56 now, going through this thing called menopause. Okay. Yeah. And many of her products have made like the hot flashes go away and made me, feel more energetic and help me through things. I mean, even this year, talk about something, that we're going through things, this year. Many people may not be aware, but I went through a cancer journey this year, and it was wow. And I've been positive, for years, and and also on a real health kick for years. I mean, I don't eat out of a microwave, haven't for 30 years. And I don't eat out of Teflon cooking because it's poisonous. I mean, there's so many life choices that I made. So to be told that I had cancer, it was like, what? Are you talking to me? I was like confused at first. I thought that, this diagnosis must be wrong. I mean, it can't be my body that would be having those issues, because seriously, I've done, so many things right. It couldn't be me. And then to go through that journey, of going through the chemo treatments and stuff like that. Chemo is awful. It is really, really awful. When people start talking about, their cancer journey and what they have gone through, until you've been through chemo, you do not understand what that is. That is some negative, nasty stuff. Okay. It actually makes it so that you cannot work. You cannot think, you're tired unbelievably tired, during that. Anyone who works through the chemo process, oh my God, they must be like superheroes, Tiff, because I'm a
You are
hard
a
worker.
superhero. Yes.
I'm a hard worker and I love to work. I love to do what I do. And to be forced to lay in bed for hours at a time, it was like, almost more than I can bear. They give you this list of, it's actually 2 pages of what the symptoms might be. Okay. And they make you track 2 pages of stuff like, just your body rebelling against you. Things like rashes that show up. You wake up in the next morning and one eye is sagging down lower than the other. And you're like, what the heck is that? You're just shocked, all of a sudden there's like 9 pimples show up right here. And you're like, what is that? And there's all these different things like, and then your hair falls out. And if that doesn't destroy your sense of identity, I don't know what will. I mean, for years I had long, dark black hair, and it was like my calling card. And then suddenly it was gone. And, we're talking about positivity here. And, as I was going through that, by the way, Tiff kept that group going. She showed up every week.
Of course.
I love you for that. You just kept everything moving. And we had team members who kept everything moving. I'm getting kind of emotional because it was intense. We built this business and people pitched in and they kept everything going. And Joshua kicked in and Francois, my husband, kicked in, and so many people kicked in. And these are the kinds of conversations we have at Positively Women's Network. We talk about real stuff. I mean, this was a real thing that I was going through, and everybody just helped out. And I just thank you so much for that, Tiff. Now I'm getting all teary-eyed here. So
I love that you're getting all. Thank you for that. And thank you for sharing that. And I feel this is an excellent time to segue for just a moment into, okay, how about when something awesome is happening? Look at Kerry right now. Like, she is thriving. I am so grateful. So many prayers. Okay, so many prayers. Like, please, because I'll admit it. I need Kerry. Okay, please, Kerry, please be here. And she's here. And when we have our moments of celebrate, we do not celebrate enough. I'm gonna say it right now. That's why I thank you, Kerry, for letting me also take a moment to talk about just a couple ways to anchor in when something really good is happening. And another thing I love about Kerry George, she is always one to celebrate other people, okay? It is, oh my gosh, did this just happen? Let's celebrate. She is such a celebratory individual, and I love her so much for that, amongst thousands and thousands of other things. We have to celebrate when things are going well. And even if, like, again, taking a moment to breathe, like, you could be in the midst of all this big celebration. I think it's very important to take a breath and just go, hold on, I gotta take a moment and breathe. And breathe in the gratitude of what is happening that is wonderful. Just doing that alone, because, Kerry, I don't know if this has happened to you, but like, how many times do you remember a memory? It's like, oh, these things that went bad, because your brain's trying to say, okay, we don't want to do that again. We better remember it. But often it's like, man, what was going on at that time when, someone's birthday or a wedding? It's all kind of a beautiful blur. But I'm really working on this year. For 2026, how many times can I anchor into a celebratory moment in the joy? And it can be just as simple, again, as taking a breath. And I kind of like to do this. I'm just, isn't this yummy? Like, just rubbing my hands together like this just feels so good, just to remind myself. And then it's funny. Then when I rub my hands again, another point, like, it floods in that feeling of a celebrational moment. So again, everyone, you deserve to celebrate. You deserve to celebrate every day. The more you can celebrate, the more evidence will appear. Oh, she's celebrating. I must need some more things to celebrate. Yes, please. Thank you. Life should be, I know that, again, life should be a joy. A lot of the times. We're always going to have those moments. People are going to always have different moments where we're in sadness, anger, grief, despair. It happens. But the more you can be in the power of now and celebrate and just, or you just give yourself a hug. I seriously, give yourself a hug and just go, I love myself. I'm so grateful to be here. I'm here for people. I love being on this earth at this moment. It can be very challenging. But again, you get to practice gratitude. I used to be really sick of people saying that you should be grateful all the time. And I'm like, see, there again, toxic positivity. But there are moments where, you know what? I am so lucky. I am breathing right now. I have eyes. There's a window right here, and I love it. There's a beautiful tree. I know it's, what is it? 1 degrees right now, maybe -10 with wind chill. But I see this beautiful, strong tree. I see beautiful blue sky. I have eyes that I can see. I can talk. I have hands that I can do this. I can give myself a hug. I can call someone. That's another reason. If you need to celebrate, text someone, call someone. I did want to throw that out there. I know that sometimes we use our phones as crutches, but phones can be an amazing way to connect. If something isn't going right and you need someone to, you just need to text someone and go, I'm having a moment here, help me out. Or something great just happened. Or, hi, I just wanted to say hi. What if you just said hi? Once in a while, I'll just text Kerry and I'll just go, hi. Because it's
I love that about you. That's she does that. I'll get up in the morning. I'll look at my phone. There's a text from Tiff just saying, "Hey, hi. I haven't seen you lately. Or are you good? Is everything okay?" and we talk to each other on the phone. Sometimes we just book a little meeting. We use meeting.com, and we jump on a meeting and we just kind of catch up and then just have a talk. And I mean, it's good on the phone too, but sometimes just seeing each other's faces. Yeah. She lives in Minneapolis. I live in Calgary, Canada, Alberta. So I'm like, but we're close. We're tight. We actually talk to each other several times a week, every week. And we have members all over the world that are like that. I mean, Wendy Kraft is another one. She just jumps on calls with me. She sends me messages. She's like, are you okay? I haven't seen you lately. And having that community of just checking in is so powerful. And it's not just us and the leadership that do this. I know our members do it with each other as well. I've heard, Cheryl McBride talk about some of the relationships that she's growing in CIBN, and Betty Ann Ellis, and just, how many, they have people who are using their services, of course, but they have other ones that are just like, they're just friends that they met in the network, and they communicate and they go see each other. I know that you had some members that have even come into Minneapolis and contacted you and got together.
Yes, I love it. It was just so fun. Someone, they said, oh, I'm sorry, I'm going to be at the Mall of America for like an hour. And I drove over there. No problem. Like, it was so awesome. Like, that connection, however you are able to connect, you deserve it. And that's part of the joy of being in the now, is connecting with people. And you're just connecting just because it feels good. Happy just because. I like to think about that too. And thank you, Kerry, for giving us the platform to do that, because it's so important.
Yeah, it's amazing. I was just thinking Gretchen Richards flew into Calgary and let me know she was coming. And we spent about 3 or 4 hours in a restaurant just yakking. And it was just like, that was the first time I met her in person, because we've done stuff together online, like for years now. And so it was amazing. And as she's just in person, she's just like she is online. As we were talking, we're just like, getting together, 2 old friends talking about stuff. We found out we have so much in common. Like we have, oh yeah, we had so much to talk about. We're very, very much in tune, like with, religion and politics and all the conversations people want to avoid. We're like right in there talking about it. And it was so fun. It's so good when you're with your people, your peeps, and you just get together and you just love on each other and just share from the heart, and can be so real. And that is, that's what you're building there in the Positively Women's Network. It's just an amazing time with women getting together, talking about what matters.
Yes, business and otherwise. But I will say, I so appreciate the caliber of speakers that we have and the topics we talk about. And you know what? Once in a while, yes, we do have a real conversation where, wow, it just got real personal for all of us. You know what? That's okay. It's not that way all the time. But that's what I love about that authentic positivity. If we need to talk to each other, if something organically comes up that, you know what, we were going to talk about one topic, but we're going to talk about this right now because this came up and everybody's resonating with it. I just think that's so important. And also, it is really nice to be in a community where you have access to people who have certain skills that you're maybe not having at the moment, or maybe you'll never have. I mean, there's certain things I'm never going to be good at. I really appreciate that we have some fantastic bookkeepers at CIBN, all right? Trying to do your bookkeeping by yourself. And there are many levels. Oh God, there's so many things. I want to go on so many tangents. But I want to remind ourselves that help is always available. And you never know until you ask. Like, you could hear someone talk and you think, there's no way I could afford that. I don't have time for that. I'm not at a point where I need that yet. Until you ask, you're not going to know. And it is so amazing how many conversations I've had with people where, wait a minute, you mean you can help me with this? Like, I could do that. I'm ready for that now. Oh my gosh, thank you. As opposed to, I'm struggling. I'm floundering. I have no idea what I'm doing in this particular area, be it bookkeeping, marketing. You know, AI is a thing now. Hello. And also social media. What about, and thank you, Kerry, for core principles of selling. I don't care how many people you know. I don't care how great your product is. Actually, that's not true. I do care how many people you know. I think that's awesome. I do care what you can do. I think that's awesome. And also, if you can't communicate that consistently in a caring way through community, you are not building a business. It really sucks when you have an expensive hobby, which I'm kind of in a reset right now. And Kerry, here's what, maybe if I could just say another thing about that. I am so grateful and I feel grounded and I feel ready. Even last year, I was like, whatever I'm doing. I don't know. And now I have such a stronger sense of who I am, what I want to do, how I can uniquely show up. And because I have this community of people who know things that they can help me with, they're experts in things that I don't have to be an expert at. And there are levels of, I'm going to say it, affordability, because we can't just do it all on our own, but you don't want to blindly give away all of your resources in the hopes that maybe it will work. That's a terrible way to build a business, but that's how so many of us can get sucked in. So it has been a saving grace to have CIBN community with me, and I know for so many others that, look, we got this. Whatever it is, we've got this because we've got community and we're being consistent and we care about each other. And it's just, again, it's incredible. And I think your mic is off.
Yeah, again, I just want to point out the QR code at the top will take you right to where you can sign up for the women's meeting. And I want to just comment on some of the things that she was talking about with the community, because being part of a community also helps you to miss and avoid mistakes, and mistakes are costly. Okay, they cost so much money. And so at CIBN, you know, we love the bookkeepers because these are the people that help people not make mistakes with, you know, the government and their taxation and stuff like that. If they are using, you know, a bookkeeper in the network, you know, and they're going to be in a better spot than if they were just, you know, floundering through and trying to get it done on their own. And of course, we love the sales trainers at CIBN, and we have a sales training program called Sales Pro, which you can find on our website at cibnconnect.com. But it is so important because when members are getting leads through networking, but then they don't know how to actually take that lead and turn it into a sale. Yeah, I mean, we can give you 1,000 leads, and if you can't sell, you're wrecked. Okay, it's over. You can't actually move the needle forward. So we want to make sure that you know what to do with the leads. And so we have a sales training level at CIBN, and then we also have sales trainers, because if you want to move faster, you know, and Tiff was talking about the budgeting piece here, right? Yes. There's that budgeting piece. I mean, sometimes, you know, you have a low budget. So our Sales Pro program is only $177 a month. And, you know, if you're struggling along, you can get in there and start. And sales trainers that work with you, you know, they're $5,000 or $10,000, but you'll get there faster. There's nothing wrong with that. We've got a few people in the network that are amazing sales trainers, and they can get you there. I got one gal who can get you there in probably 2 or 3 days. Like, she is just amazing. And she has a program for that. You know, that's Christina Jensen, incredible. So, I mean, this is, you know, this is the help that you need. And when you're avoiding that kind of mistake, like if you're closing 1 out of 10 deals, or worse, 1 out of 20, you know, and you're doing 20 appointments a month, like that's a lot of work, right? And if you could bring that down to actually making 1 out of 4 sales, like what would that do for your income? You'd make 5 sales instead of 1. And every month that you're not doing that, you're losing that money. And it's a mistake that you're missing. So you don't want to be having those kinds of mistakes. Okay. You actually want to fix that, plug that hole. So, I mean, if you have the, 10 or 20,000 to work with a coach and get through that, I mean, you'll get through it faster. But if your budget is low, take the sales pro training so you can at least get through it, in a matter of months or this year, because next year you're still going to be sucking at selling if you don't take action, right? And if you still suck at selling next year, you're still going to be at the income level that you're at. But if you get better at selling, you might be making 4 times what you're making right now, and you're losing that month after month after month. So if you're like trying to make $5,000 a month and you're at like $3,000, you're losing $2,000 a month every month for the next year. Okay, that's $24,000 loss. That's just at a low income level. I mean, there could be people watching this right now who, you're making 5 and you want to make 10. And the problem is you're not closing deals. Okay, that needs to be fixed before you fix anything else. I mean, people, they say, well, I'll just hire someone to do my sales. If you can't sell your own stuff, what are you going to train them to do? Like,
so
hello?
Thank you.
And that's why that doesn't work. So we love the sales trainers. And then, of course, at CIBN, we also have the marketers. Are you going to do all this stuff yourself forever? Right? Again, we love the marketers. The people who get your stuff out properly, the ones who show you how to brand things, and again, varying levels. We got people who charge $200-$300 for a project, just by joining the network, even at the speakers level, $77 a month, you get a bunch of marketing training. So if you're at that place where you got to do it yourself and you need to have access to what works and what's most effective, that's a great way to get involved at CIBN, is just take the speakers level, and you're going to get a bunch of training on things like how to fill your meeting and how to get your event out there and how to promote yourself online and how to take those step-by-step motions to move the needle forward, right? All of that is in there. And as you go, you're going to meet the marketers, right? You're going to meet the ones that offer something for $200, $300. And as you grow, and your business starts to take off, you know what? You get more. You can go, okay, well, now I can afford the one that charges $1,000 a month and get them to really do stuff for me. And now I can take my hands off that mess. I can leave that alone, let somebody else handle it, and I can go focus on what I need to focus on in my business. And that is so critical, that we spend time on the thing that we're great at. I don't clean my house. I hire people to do that.
Love that.
I don't do my bookkeeping. I hire people to do that. Okay. And less and less I'm doing the marketing. Now I do know a lot about marketing. I have invested a lot in learning about marketing over the last, 20 years. So I do oversee marketing. I don't know if I'll ever stop overseeing it because I like it. I really enjoy it.
That's awesome. You like it.
I do, but I don't have to do it all now. Okay. No. We have people who do that. And that's, because we built out a business step by step. I always say that it's like putting a brick upon brick and building a castle wall, like you're building a legacy, one brick upon the other. And if you keep building the bricks one upon another, you will eventually build a legacy, just one step at a time. And I look at every automation project like that. I look at every workflow like that. I look at every new page that's added to the website, or every landing page that's created for some special that we're offering. I look at that like, okay, we're building legacy. So we don't want to do this one time. We're going to use this thing over and over and over again. And step by step by step, we build it out. And what has happened? CIBN is amazing today. 15 years of doing this. We have thousands of people following us all over the world. We got 80,000 on Meetup alone. We got thousands on LinkedIn, thousands on Facebook, thousands on other social media channels. And we've built an amazing community with over 500 in-person events a year online, and we used to do 500 in person in one city, but we now do it online. And people are joining us. I mean, USA is our biggest market. Lots of people coming in from the US all the time. Canada is number 2, and UK is number 3. But we got 27 countries that are actually with us all the time. And it's people like Tiff that has made that possible. That's how we grew this business. One step at a time, building a community. When she talks about her 3 C's, she's saying that, what was the first one? The first one was community.
Community. We got it.
Yeah. Second one is consistency. Right? And then the third one was caring.
Yes.
And Tiff has successfully built that into Positively Women's Networking. I hope you'll join us there. The QR code up at the top will take you right to the place where you can sign up for one of the upcoming weeks to jump in and meet the tribe that Tiff has been building, this glorious group of women that just is loving on each other and building this great community. We'd love to invite you to join us there. So, thank you so much for everything that you have been doing for CIBN. Tiff, do you have any final thoughts?
I also want to thank you. That's, I think, the best gratitude, being thankful. Just saying thank you. It means a lot to be like, just Kerry, thank you. I love being here. I love being a part of CIBN. The summit is awesome. I love this YouTube format. It's fun. And thanks for letting me chat with you live, because you know how much I love the lives with you. It's the best ever. So thanks.
Yeah, awesome. Guys, stay tuned. There's more videos coming up in the summit right now. Lots more stuff that is happening. Watch the playlist. There's a whole playlist on CIBN TV on YouTube for the summit. All these great speakers are there. And once again, I just want to thank Tiff for everything that she does and for coming online with me today to talk about it. So let's give her a big round of applause, and happy capitalism. We'll see you later.